Hello, YouTube. This is Self Mastery 101. And today I'm going to talk to you about Don't Take No for an Answer Part 2. And I'm going to give you one of my stories that happened this week. So, there was a store and they were refusing to sell to me. Every time I went in there, and I took notes, every time I went in there, they always had an excuse saying that a certain person is not there, so they're not able to sell. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, but the store itself is open, so what do you mean because somebody's not there? They did this to me for about 3 weeks. And I took notes and I documented everything. And then the very last time I said, you know what? I'm going to just call up to the store to see if if that department is supposedly open. And you and I both know that when when it's just one store, everything's available. It doesn't matter who's working at the counter or not. If the store is open, it's all available. So I went up there and I called. And then the person said, the first phone call I made, oh, why don't you call after 3 o'clock? She's not here. And I'm like, well, who is she? And I said, okay, this is all nonsense. I already know they obviously just don't want to sell to me for whatever personal problem they have with me. I don't understand. So then I called the next day, like they said, at around 3 p.m. This time they said, oh, she's in California. You know, why don't you just call next week or come up next week? And I was nice and polite on the phone with them. I then went on my cell phone because I said, I need to track who is in charge of this particular store. Lo and behold, I found out that it was in a totally different state where the main headquarters is. I thought it was only just one store in the city that I live in. But come to find out, they have a chain of stores. And I just so happened, because the first time when I called, it was a voicemail. And I said, no, I'm going to keep calling and dialing every extension until somebody gets on this phone. Because I am going to buy something and these people are not going to turn me down. I don't care what their personal opinion is. So I called and I first asked, is there a way that I can order? And he said, the person on the phone was very courteous and said, well, no, we don't have that. And then I finally said, well, what about if it's a store and I can't buy anything because there's people who don't want to sell to me? And he said, what are you talking about? I said, I've been going in there for the past 3 weeks and it was always the same excuse. She is not there. And I said, and today the final straw was when they said, she is in California, come back next week. And he said, well, I'm one of the owners. What do you mean? And I said, I want to buy things and they're not selling it to me. And he said, let me tell you this, take my personal cell phone number down. And when you go in there, give them my name and let me know if there's any problems. So I went back to that store the same day I spoke to the owner. I went back and sure enough, not only did they not acknowledge me, and then they finally came around and they said just what I knew they were going to say. Oh, the lady's not here, this fictitious lady. So I first mentioned the owner's name and they just said, huh? And so I pulled my cell phone out immediately and put it on speakerphone. and contacted that owner. And I said, hello, I'm standing here at your store and they're still not selling to me. And he said, oh, no. He said, excuse me? I said, yes, they're refusing to sell to me. And he said, hold on a minute. I'm going to make a phone call to the store. So he made the phone call. Then all of a sudden, I could buy a bunch of things. And then also, they gave me discounts and said, oh, thank you. So with that being said, everyone, just because a store is just being run, it doesn't mean that the owner's in there, and the owner is more than likely unaware of what their employees are doing. There are employees that have a false sense of ownership, where where they pick and choose, or if they just don't want to do their job, they have every kind of excuse. And we all have rights. If we want to go into a store, we have the right to go into the store. And you just have to have the confidence to say, I really don't care about your personal feelings. I want to buy this stuff right here, and you're going to sell it to me. But you're going to do it in such a courteous manner instead of literally saying it like that. If they are giving you a problem, you have to go online and look for if it's a CEO or an owner. Those are the people who you're going to speak with. Now, if there's an owner who runs the store and they're acting like that, then it's, you know what, I'm just not coming back here anymore, where there's no argument. And everyone, I hope this helps. And and stay tuned for everything. I miss all of you, and thank you for your time.